Welcome back to A Considerate Life. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. As of this recording, next week is my 25th wedding anniversary, so I'll post this video near there. So a very short trip down memory lane. I think our very first date was in Henry Dorley Zoo in Omaha, Nebraska. That's on the left there. That's my future brother-in-law, Christopher. And pro tip, guys, if you want to bag a hot girl, be funny. This is my future sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Serena's a twin. That's her sister, Sierra. This is actually a picture the day after our wedding. My father-in-law, who's a photographer, had us go to the steps of this museum in Omaha, and we got these pics. And these are our 4 kids. We now have 4 children. So that's us after 25 years, and this is us now.
Hi.
In reflecting on 25 years of marriage, there are some things that have become clear to me, both as someone who's been married for a quarter of a century and as someone who thinks about theology and philosophy and things from a Christian perspective. So this is going to be sort of advice that I would give my daughters about marriage and relationships after 25 years of marriage. The first thing that occurs to me is this, that there's a lot of talk about toxic masculinity and things like that in the culture. One thing to note is this, that there is an aggression to masculine love. There just is.
I think he heard you.
In our love for women, for our wives, there is an aggression. There's an aggression that is bound up with loyalty and protection and provision and the desire to go out into the world and make something of oneself. I don't think that can be naturally or helpfully expunged from men. And so this idea of toxic masculinity just meaning anything that men do that is an expression of aggression, I think is wrong-headed, because it's trying to deconstruct what men are and turn them basically more into women. So in this relationship of marriage, the man wants to own, he wants to possess, he wants to dominate, he wants to preserve and protect. All of those things are sort of bound up together. And if you want to shave some of those parts off, I don't think you can do that without losing some elements of that genuine masculine love. He wants her to be his and no one else's. And I think this explains all of this debate about body counts and whether or not that matters. Yes, it matters. It matters because this woman of beauty and gentleness and ability, he wants her for himself and for no one else, right? That's not wrong. That is this exclusivity of the marriage relationship that makes it what it is. In Genesis, it says that the man will leave his father and mother and be united with his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So this is what men want in the marriage relationship. They want to possess their wife. They want their beauty. They want their loyalty. They want their love. And they want that all exclusively for themselves and no other man on the planet, right? Now, women, if you submit to this, if you submit to this kind of masculine love, then the man will give you his name. He will give you his finances. He will give you his future and his work. He will drink in your beauty and use that as fuel to make a way for you in the world, for you and the children that come after you. This is what men have been doing. This is why men have a love for country. This love for country is bound up with aggression and protection, right? The desire to lay down one's life for this high calling of being there for someone. So that's just a note on the nature of masculine love. Now, obviously people are going to disagree with me, but they're wrong. And all of human history and everything that's going wrong in our society is evidence that I'm right. The second thing to note is this, and theologically, what marriage is not a contract. It's a covenant. It's a covenant before God to enter into a marital union, right? And marriages that are going well are increasing in this level of communion. The husband and wife are communing with one another, right? After 25 years of marriage, this is not always the case. And in fact, it is each person's individual commitment to the covenant before God that actually, at least in our experience, has made the marriage continue through some very, very difficult times, interpersonal and financial and all of these other things. There have been times in my life where I've thought, that's it, this is over. And yet, because each of us individually were committed to the covenant promises, the covenant marriage that we committed ourselves to, we endured and we kept going. And the last thing to note is something that I think is completely lost in this culture, and it's the relationship of a woman's beauty for her husband and to the world. So I said earlier that one of the things that the man will do in marriage is he will soak up the woman's beauty. There is nothing more gratifying. There are a few things more gratifying to a man than having the love of a beautiful woman, right? It is validation and encouragement on the deepest levels of his masculinity, right? Almost like nothing else can be. And what I see now in the culture where marriage is being attacked, it's being denigrated on multiple sides, on multiple fronts. But one of the things is that in the hearts and minds of young women who don't grasp this notion of their beauty being something that should be or could be or should be restricted to one man in a covenant of marriage for life, right? The proliferation of pornography and OnlyFans and Instagram and whatever, all of this salacious content that young women are putting out, I think is evidence that they don't understand this as a purpose for their beauty. And, I can hear the voice of the feminists in the background saying, railing against this notion that a woman's beauty is for a man. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying a woman's beauty is for men. What I'm saying is that a wife's beauty is for her husband. The same thing in the issue with submission. The Bible doesn't say women should submit to men. It says wives should submit to their husbands. And I'm talking specifically about the husband and wife marriage relationship. I'm not talking about women and men's relationship in society. And this became apparent to me when I was watching every now and again I'll watch some of these feel-good videos. A parent who comes back from a deployment and surprises their child at Christmas or at their school, right? All of these feel-good moments of reuniting with a loved one. Well, I saw on a video of an older couple who'd they'd been separated over COVID because of COVID restrictions. They were in, I'm assuming they were in care facilities, and they were separated, and seeing these husbands and wives reunited, these people that are in their 80s or so. If you were to just look at these women, they're old grandmothers. We wouldn't say in terms of like that they're in the flower of feminine beauty. But what you see in these old men are, I think, looking at these women, and what has been stored up in them are decades of appreciating the beauty of this woman. So for the women who are sort of bristling at this idea of masculine love and their beauty is meant for just this man, this is what happens over decades of marriage, is that when I look at my wife, we got married in our early 20s. When I look at my wife, she'll point out things that she may not like about her laugh lines or whatever. But I don't even see those things. I don't even see them, right? Because to me, she's always this young, beautiful woman. Fast forward into our, God willing, 60s and 70s and 80s, that will still be true. When the world looks at her as just a grandmother or great-grandmother, I will still see this woman. So that has been stored up in me. And I will still see this woman as this young, beautiful woman that I married back in the 90s. Oh, let me say this last thing about men. This is also why men need to, as Job says, make a covenant with their eyes not to look at other women lustfully. Men should recognize that their eyes belong to their wife. My guys in my men's group know this. We work out at the same gym. I'm nearsighted, so anything about anywhere outside of for probably 18 to 24 inches gets pretty blurry pretty quickly. I use that to my advantage because I go to the gym and I leave my glasses in the locker room, and that's my way of using my stigmatism to my advantage spiritually. But more than that, there's a place in my heart where like Job, I've covenanted with the Lord about the nature of my eyes, that I don't have the right to just look at every beautiful woman and take from her beauty. I have my wife. I have my beautiful wife, and her beauty should be sufficient, should be enough for me. And that God is pleased when we are satisfied with the wife of our youth. So that's it. That's my reflection on 25 years of marriage. Love you, honey. Love you, girls. And this is what I would say to my daughters. And if they ever watch this, and I don't think they watch my channel very often, but this is what I would say to them about the nature of masculine love, the covenant of marriage, and the reason that men and women should have these dynamics in the marriage. Well, since we're heading into a political season, I'll just say this now so I can get all the people abandoning my channel off. In the next video, I want to talk about why I like Donald Trump. So we'll talk about that next time.